Guys, first of all, sorry for the delay. Second of all, sorry for our demo being so small. We didn't realize that we were on this big room. Hopefully we can manage showing you what we really want to try to show, and hopefully it will actually work. Let's see, okay? So my name is Filipe. Thank you very much for attending. I'm actually from the Delivery and Innovation Center that appeared open last year in Portugal. And Kasif, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Kasif, and I am based in London Apperio office, and I'm responsible for field service lightning um, area within the Salesforce practice.
So a quick intro to what we are actually doing here. So as many of you, I have a lot of passions in life. Two of them is actually Salesforce and Legos, okay? I actually have a big Lego city at home. My daughter is only 4 months old, so it's actually my Lego city. And actually, my wife shares the same passion, so we are okay on that. So I figured out, I've been working with Salesforce for the past 8 years. I was trying to figure out the best way to connect those two passions. And a couple of months ago, I started talking with Kasif about this. How can we do this? We made a plan. We made a business case out of it. We tried to understand how we were able to show what Salesforce is able to do, in this case with IoT and field service. And then we use our innovation team in the period to build this demo, okay?
Yeah, and I was working on a client wherein they have a big manufacturing units for their customers, and they have big plants where they install industrial machinery, paper machineries, and there are some issues around that where an engineer needs to fix it to reset just to click a button. Their internal employee cannot do it. So we thought, let's automate it using IoT, and then we came up with this idea.
So this session will have two different parts. Before we jump into the real demo, we want to talk a little bit about IoT, Salesforce Field Service, and so on. So, but just to make expectations, we are not going to deep dive in the technology or the architecture of it. I just want to talk to you about the business case, how IoT and Field Service and Service Cloud can help our customers solving problems, how this will work on a real environment, and these kind of activities that we want to show you and to talk to you about.
Yeah, and the capabilities of each individual product, how we can leverage those capabilities for the business processes we are going to use for. Yeah,
Can you
go to the next
So
one?
before we do that, let's just very briefly talk about the customer support of the future. So what is the challenges that the customer support is facing right now, and what are actually the technologies that are being able to solve those problems? So this is just a generic approach of what kind of problems customer support is facing. Efficiency and productivity, this is a big thing. Our customers are telling us that they have big teams that they are not effective enough, so they are trying to find ways to have this productive being better and higher, to be able to reduce the teams or also to use those teams to do different jobs. Predict issues and behavior. So this is important because more and more we as consumers, as customers, as users, are interacting with brands on so many devices, so many places, on different times, that companies need to start predicting this behavior. Needs to start being able to proactively solve cases that our customers don't even know that they are having. Okay. Working schedules and automation. So this is we are going to talk a lot about this. This is a big issue for companies, being able to proactively plan the workforce that they have on their teams to be able to respond quickly to the customer's needs.
Yeah, and if we talk about operational efficiency and productivity, there are systems, companies use multiple systems, and data are isolated in different systems to run the business process or a service case for a customer support agent. It becomes very difficult to find the right data at the right time. So basically, it reduces your operational efficiency. But what Salesforce Service Cloud gives you, it gives you 360 view of your customer, product associated with that customer, contract, if there is a service contract, if there is a service entitlement, anything and everything related to operation, to make operation efficient.
And finally, all of us that work with Salesforce know that global customers are a big issue for our platform, mainly on the business process side. So being able to, on customer support, for example, be able to have only one process that will be able to cover different geographies and different cultures and different ways of doing things are a real challenge. But the customers are asking this more and more. We just want to have one big process that will fit all the gaps on all the regions that the customer actually operates. So if you go to the next slide, there is a lot of technologies going on that can solve these issues, but we want to talk about these 4 ones. So AI, this is what is most talked about on customer support, being able to proactively detect issues, proactively open cases, proactively resolve those issues, but also being able to, with all this data that is coming from different places, be able to have a deep down on the root cause of those issues to make sure that we don't have the same issue once again. So AI will play a very big role on customer support to be able to upfront, before the customer calls the customer support, upfront be able to resolve or predict issues that may be happening on different devices. Conversational bots, so chatbots, they are not there yet, okay? Actually, a couple of days ago, I had a lovely conversation with the UK Social Security customer support. It was a chatbot, and even with my broken English, we had a nice conversation. I explained my issue. She told me that my issue was going to be resolved in 20 weeks' time, so the message was not good, but the conversation actually went very good, and the bot itself understood very well what I was trying to do. This will help a lot on companies that will be able to, again, upfront, before actually using a real user to solve a problem upfront, to start solving problems of customers.
And IoT is one of them, like, which enables your customers and you as a business to interact with each other on a regular basis using orchestration. I don't want to use that much technical, but I think it's more about you are connected with your customer 24/7, and you know what are their major and primary issues, and you can leverage those issues using IoT capabilities and fix them permanently, and some of them are ongoing, so you can re-improve your processes if you want using those capabilities.
So Salesforce says that by 2020, and again, 2020 is already next year, so a couple of years ago, it seems very far, but it's already next year. Salesforce says that 20 billion devices will be connected globally. So IoT is a thing, is really a thing, and it's coming very, very hard for companies, and companies will need to keep up to be able to reply to the customer's needs. And then field service technology. So being able to have an engine that will pick the right resource at the right time with the right skill to deliver the right product is really important for companies. Okay?
Yeah, it depends on your scheduling policy, what you define within your organization, and you define your work type your engineer is going to work on, and then that can be automated using this field service technology capability of using automation and optimization within the product.
Okay, so let's move forward so we can actually show the demo. So just very quickly, we want to talk about the products that Salesforce provides that actually help solving this problem. So IoT, Salesforce IoT, of course, Salesforce Service Cloud, everyone knows Salesforce Service Cloud very well, and Salesforce Field Service Lightning. So just quickly, the Salesforce IoT, if you can move to the next one. Salesforce IoT, what it is, it's really something, it's really a state machine, okay? So Salesforce provides us the tools to receive events from any kind of device and be able to, based on rules, to change the state machine of a specific asset, for example, on Salesforce. So it's a really complex, it can provide a really complex path to do these kind of actions. And then it will be able to receive the information, any device, any place, anywhere, online, on time, to be able to do this.
Yeah, and then the additional capability it has, it gives you It's a non-linear platform. It exactly diagnoses where is the problem, and it goes there and finds the problem and tells you the problem and create a case followed by your processes.
So the Salesforce Service Cloud on the next slide. I know everyone knows about Salesforce Service Cloud. Just what is important here is the omni-channel feature is great, and we are going to see on the demo, anything that is coming from a device can be automatically picked up by a customer, route to the right customer, route to the right user or agent based on on skills. So if you are sending in information from devices coming through Salesforce, and users, agents will be able to pick it up very quickly and be able to route these cases through the team. Now, the next one about Salesforce Field Service Lightning.
Yeah, so this particular diagram talks about you have a customer, and then your customer has a location where you have installed your asset, and for big manufacturing industries where you have big machineries, so you have a dedicated engineer there. So what Field Service Lightning does, the moment you configure your business processes, it identifies the right resource on the right side of the customer and rightly schedule it based on his availability. So this is what it talks about. So there is a site for that customer reports an issue, and it goes to the contact support agent, and then he reviews it, and then he creates a case and work order. Your dispatcher of your organization reviews it and add if there is a product requirement to fix the issue, or if there is a checklist engineer has to perform before going to the work order. So he dispatch this to the field service engineer, and then field service engineer use mobile app of FSL, and where he receives that notification and goes and work on that particular service appointment to complete that. So this is the major capability and main capability of Field Service Lightning. And this is something how optimization work. Within Field Service Lightning, you have this component or capability that it identifies the right technician based on the work rules you define. And if we see there's a match territory skills, these are the maximum distance from home. So those are the different skills, different work rules and objective you have defined within your Field Service Lightning app, and then it qualifies the best 5 engineers, and then you choose as a dispatcher which engineer is the best fit, and you schedule that engineer for that particular work order.
Okay, so we're not going to deep dive in all of this, of course, but just a few examples of real situations that all of these clouds are actually helping our customers doing their job. Monitoring devices and remote services, very important. We are able to, again, monitoring everything that is happening on our customers' devices, and we'll be able to remote do actions from Salesforce. Predictive maintenance, we are able with Field Service Lightning and with IoT Salesforce to be able to predict cases to happen and actually create those cases automatically based on that. And then field service scheduling and routing, field service stock management, and support the activities that the field agent is actually doing on the site. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, this is the whole journey where you have customer data receiving in your org, and you identify those issues. You kind of predictively, intelligently identify those issues and create a field service schedule for those sort of issues in advance using preventive maintenance. So yeah, this is something where we are using IoT, AI, and field service capability end-to-end using these 6 capabilities. Yeah.
So very quickly on the next slide regarding monitoring devices and remote service. So this is, again, what very high-level architecture should look like on a real case. Of course, any devices that we can connect to the internet, we can use it to have this big high-level implementation. We should have always an IoT platform. We mentioned here the Google Cloud Platform. We could use Amazon Web Services, but since Salesforce is really not the place to have millions of data coming through, we should have a platform, an IoT platform in between to make this flow easier. And then, of course, using the Salesforce tools. So Salesforce IoT and Salesforce Analytics, Wave Analytics, and also, for example, Velocity has actually an analytics component just for customer support and customer service that can be used to monitor and to be able to get information out of these out of the devices and information that is coming through the platform, the IoT platform. And then on the other hand of the process, of course, having the real Salesforce tools that we all use today, cloud, Service Cloud, and Field Service Lightning. So this can be both directions, right? This can be directions from the devices to the Salesforce, so we can actually monitoring what's happening, and this can be information coming from Salesforce to the device to do some kind of action, okay?
So I'll go to the next one. And this is something what we thought we can leverage using IoT capabilities with Field Service Lightning, or what I mentioned in this in my previous slide, that you have an asset on the customer side, and now what we have added here, we are saying that that asset is connected to the device, and it is using Salesforce platform even to receive data, and it talks about if there is a malfunction and there is a problem with the asset, then it goes automatically creates a case, creates a work order, and followed by a service appointment to schedule an engineer for that particular problem. Does that make sense? Yeah, and then.
Okay, so enough of the theoretical part. Let's deep dive into the demo. Just to explain on the next slide, just to explain what it is. So, well, we try to replicate a power plant. Okay, and let's imagine that this is a very big factory with all these devices on it. We have here a boiler. Okay, and the boiler needs to be on specific range of temperatures and pressure, otherwise it may blow up. And this boiler is actually fed with a fan. Okay, the fan will provide air and control the temperature of the boiler. Okay, so this is what we use. Okay, we really don't want to go into the technical part, but this is what we used to make this demo. Okay, we have our Lego set. We use Arduino to connect the Lego bricks with something mechanical and electronical. Then we have Python scripts on a Raspberry Pi. Everything is there on a Raspberry Pi, a Python script that receives information from the Arduino, and it will connect with the IoT platform to create platform events. Okay, and then we are using Field Service and Lightning and Service Cloud to be able to respond and do the actions that we'll need to do. And again, this is go the other way around. We can actually use Salesforce to connect with the Lego sets. Okay, so
next one, then we will go to the demo use case.
Let's see if it actually works at this point. So the idea is that I'm actually an agent. Okay. Okay. Then I'm a Salesforce agent, and I'm doing my job, opening cases, resolving cases, and for some reason I want to, I can check the asset on a specific customer. So we have a boiler asset here on this customer, and we have here the status of the asset. So the temperature is okay, the fan is okay, and actually can see a graphic of what's actually happening regarding the temperature, for example. Okay, so let's if we can now show. I can do it
this way. Okay.
So we are not setting this on fire to raise the temperature. What we are doing is just making sure that. Is that okay? Yeah. Yeah. You need to step out of the way. So what we did was, let me check. Yeah. So we increased the temperature. And we were allowed to, so and in this case, the temperature for some reason, there's a malfunction, the temperature of the boiler was raised, okay? So, as you can see, now here on the, if you can switch to the presentation, as you can see, now the graphic, can we switch to the presentation? Yeah, thank you. Now the graphic has increased, and yeah, almost there. Okay, so as you can see now, the graphic has increased. So we are monitoring what's happening remotely, what's happening on the fan. Now, I'm just doing this a little bit more to a point there actually there is a red flag there, okay? And this is actually happening because there was a threshold on Salesforce saying that the temperature of this particular boiler cannot be over 150 degrees, for example. As you can see, automatically, I was working on something else, and automatically we have here a new case that was just opened because we passed the threshold. Now, this is cool because Salesforce IoT can actually do this. They can actually receive information from the device and combine information from what is actually on Salesforce, okay? So,
yeah, just to add this, this was the non-linear functionality we were talking about of IoT capability. So it identifies the exact issue, what has gone wrong with the asset, and then the action or the business processes we have defined related to this particular event. It creates a case, and then tells us there is a problem, and then a support agent works on it, and followed by.
okay. So we have here our case. As you can see, the temperature now is on a red flag, and we need to do something to try to solve it. So before actually calling our customer and saying there's something wrong with their boiler, we are trying to fix that remotely, okay? So if we can, I'm going to speed up the fan of I'm going to speed the fan, okay, in order to make more pressure and air to the boiler to try to solve the case. So if we can go back to the
Lego?
To the Lego set, I'm clicking on the high, I hope you guys can see, I'm clicking on the high button, and now the fan the velocity of the fan has increased, and hopefully the temperature is now going down, okay? Of course, this is all simulated, but I just clicked something on Salesforce, providing information, just speed up the fan that we have on site, and now the boiler is going back to the temperature that is supposed to be, and now the fan is going to be back on there, the velocity that was in the beginning, okay? So this is, again, a way of us remotely act on the fan. Now, if we refresh our case, we can actually see that Salesforce provides us, sorry, can we switch again? Yeah. Salesforce, the device provides us the information, okay, now the temperature is back on track. Now the case is being automatically set to resolved, okay? So I am an agent, I actually have the information that it worked, the boiler is now fixed, and we are actually be able to close the case ourselves, okay? So this was the first use cases, creating a case automatically and be able to act remotely. Now, the second use case is, let's assume that for some reason there is an issue with the fan, okay? Again, I'm not breaking this, I'm just simulating that there's an issue, okay? Yeah. So the fan just stopped working for some reason. There's all kind of...
and it cannot be fixed remotely.
Exactly. So again, we have a new case. As you can hear, there is a new case coming in. We have a new case, and then this time, the case is because there was a malfunction. Okay, so as you can see, the fan state is now red. So since there is a malfunction, as Kasif was saying, cannot be fixed remotely, we need to send someone to fix it. So as you can see, there is actually a work order automatically created as well to be able to do this.
Yeah, so there we are leveraging the FSL capabilities that based on the case, we are creating an automatic work order followed by a service appointment to schedule an engineer. And when you go on the dispatcher console, this is the view for a planner for your company who can schedule engineers and then can look for that service appointment. And can you drag and drop? So you can drag and drop and schedule that engineer that you need to go to this particular work order and for this customer, this site. And then he receives, again, as I showed you that in the demo, that he receives that notification, and then he has all the information on that particular service appointment, what he needs to do, who is the customer, what parts are required, whatever is necessary information is already ready for him to use when he goes to the service execution.
Okay, so what we have done is the work order was automatically created, okay? But now we have a dispatch that actually is dispatching the service appointment to the nearest or the more available agent, field agent. So we just dispatch that, and we actually schedule it. So there is a message on my mobile app saying you have a new order or service appointment that you need to take care of.
Yeah.
I can check what it's all about. I will see what is the information of the asset. I will see the information of the work order, what's the parts that I need, and what I need to do. Okay. So now let's assume that I am actually the field service agent. I'm going to the plant itself. I'm going to try to fix something. I do my work. I have some screws a little bit more tight, try to figure out what's actually happening, and I think I solve it, okay? So now what I can do is I can go to my asset from my mobile app, and I actually, let's test if this actually works or not. So what I can do is, okay, I want to initiate again the fan, okay? So I as a field service agent, was able to, on the site, also using Salesforce, to reset the fan again and make sure that everything was working fine. So again, just to finalize the demo, if you go back to our case and we refresh, because we know that actually it solved it, the case is automatically closed.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, this was our idea of showing how Salesforce and IoT and field service really works on a real environment. Real environment Legos, not real environment, but at least I think you got the view of how this will work on a manufacturing plant. Now, this can be applied to a lot of different industries, a lot of different customers, automobile, manufacturing, even consumer goods. But the real idea is that, as you can see, we can connect on real time Salesforce from the devices with the technology.
And at the end of the day, it's all about business. They have the enormous capability to leverage these platforms using different flows and workflows, what they define as per their business process, and improve their customer service, or reduce the lack of efficiency, what we discussed, the challenges we had. So yeah, it's all about the orchestration of all of the platform and leveraging the capabilities, inbuilt capabilities of IoT, Field Service Lightning, and Service Cloud.
So this is what we had to show you today. If
questions?
there's any questions that would like to be answered, we are going to try to keep showing this to everyone that would like to have a look. Any questions?
Wait, sorry, I'm coming to you. It's going live streaming, so you need to.
Hi there. Great presentation, thank you. I've got a potential new customer who I met just the day before yesterday, and they're a lift maintenance company, and they've developed a gadget to report back the lift status, and I believe it goes to an SQL database. So I was thinking that we could just integrate with that SQL database to get the data into Salesforce. Data doesn't need to go back the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that all we need to do for that, or do we need to leverage any Salesforce IoT platform?
So again, we will need to work on the two different ways of doing this. One is actually connecting because doing this with Salesforce IoT only is very easy. We just need to be able to, the device sending the right information to the right place. So IoT Salesforce will pick up those events and create platform events on Salesforce itself. So this is standard from Salesforce IoT. The other way around, so where we can actually interact from Salesforce back to the device itself, it's a little bit more out of the box, not out of the box. So there is a lot of customization and integration that needs to be done. But both ways is completely achievable. So it's an easy way to easily showcase how this will do on a lift, for example. We can track where the lift is at any point in time on which floor it is, issues that the lift is having, why the lift has been stopped, and then of course, lifts are already being able to be remotely accessed. If you can do this from Salesforce itself with the live agent, it's something that is completely achievable and very easily to do. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Any other question? We have got 2 more minutes. Okay, cool. I'll come to you.
Hi, that was great. What's the What's coming up next on IoT in Salesforce? Have you got any insight into the future thoughts on the platform?
So IoT in Salesforce IoT is not brand new, but it hasn't been yet utilized a lot. What we're trying to do with Salesforce IoT, the platform itself, I think it's more or less stable right now. What we are trying to do, the laptop is, what we're trying to do is integrate Salesforce IoT with, for example, MuleSoft. So there is going to be some kind of connections with these technologies. Also using the platforms that we are going to be able to use, Google and Amazon Web Service. There is already connectors between Amazon Web Service to Salesforce IoT directly, but the Salesforce IoT platform at this point is very, very, very stable already. There is a lot of things that it can do. I think there is some place to improvement, but again, Salesforce IoT is not the real IoT cloud platform. It's something that we can use for customer interaction and customer experience. So we can have some kind of improvement, but it's already there, the stabilized functionalities. Okay, but yes, there's going to be upcoming integration activities between MuleSoft, Salesforce, and the other platforms.
Okay. So with this, I would like to say thank you very much for attending our session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.